Welcome to a night out. Welcome, friends. Welcome to Camp Meetings. I'm your host, Reverend Nate Melcher of Richfield United Methodist Church in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Welcome to Camp Meetings. This is our season finale of Lent in a Tent. There's my tent behind me back there. Now, I said season finale, not series finale. This is not the last camp meeting we're going to do. We're going to keep doing them for at least a few more weeks here, as we are no longer doing in-person worship. That's suspended right now. So we're going to keep doing camp meetings, but season 2 will start after Easter, and that season will be called Easter Ride, because the season after Easter is Eastertide and Easter Ride. So like a car or a vehicle for riding. You know what? We're going to have liturgically themed seasons. That's just how it works, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and change back my background here and get us going. Let's go ahead and kick it off with a little bit of song. We're going to do a song called Love Divine, All Loves Excelling. And this is an oldie but a goodie by Charles Wesley. And it is with the Beecher as the tune. So you can probably find the lyrics pretty easily for Love Divine, All Loves Excelling. We're going to do the first 2 verses. Here we go. Divine, all love excelling, joy of heaven to earth come down. Fix in us thy humble dwelling, all thy faithful mercies crown. Jesus, thou art all compassion, pure unbounded love thou art. Visit us with thy salvation, enter every trembling heart. Breathe, O breath, thy spirit into every troubled breast. Let us all in thee inherit, let us find that second rest. Take away our bed to sitting, Alpha and Omega be, and of faith as its beginning, set our hearts at liberty. Very good singing, friends. It's an oldie but a goodie. It's Charles Wesley, and you gotta love that tune, Beecher. Good Oz reference for people, Beecher. All right, it looks like our guest is here. Hey there, Joe. I'm gonna go ahead and put you on mute for now, or you can put yourself on mute. I can't figure out how to do it.
I think I got it.
All right, I'm going to, oh, rats. How do I mute Joe for now? Anybody know? I'm going to try and mute your video. There we go. I'm going to mute your video. I'm going to bring me back and put me up here. There we go. So Joe will be with us in a little bit. There he is. Good preview of Joe. But for now, we got a few things to say. First of all, let's go ahead and do some prayer, friends. We've been doing the breakthrough prayer here. And so let me get that out here. This is Richfield United Methodist Church's breakthrough prayer, but it's open for everybody. And so I encourage you to pray with me. Loving God of all, renew our hearts and minds, reveal your wildest dreams, break through to each of us. Unite us in your vision, equip us for your work, transform us by your song, create our harmony. May we embrace your future and be your loving church. Amen. That's a prayer we do at 8:35, and we're always loving having anybody do that prayer with us. Speaking of numbers like 8, 3, and 5, my inbox is still not clear. Now, if you've been tuning in, you know that I love having a 0 mail inbox. I try to do that as much as possible. And in these times of the pandemic, I have had more email than usual. So at the end of the episode, you will get a chance to guess how many unread emails I still have. So put your guess in the comments and we'll see what happens at the end of the show. It is Wednesday of Holy Week and it's almost Easter. Now, many of us are staying home as much as possible. And some of you may be concerned about whether or not the Easter Bunny is going to be able to go out this year. But rest assured, I have heard the Easter Bunny will be out this weekend. So don't worry, be happy. That was tonight's Sneak Attack Pun. Sneak Attack Puns are brought to you by Motorola two-way radios. Motorola, buy one and copy that. Make sure to leave your favorite pun in the comments, and it might become a sneak attack pun sometime in another episode. And speaking of Easter, the plan is on Saturday morning, as safety permits, from 10 in the morning to 11:30 in the morning, our church is going to have drive-through joy, where families can come and get a Easter egg hunt take-home kit. These are kits that were packaged about 3 weeks ago with gloves and social distancing and all of that to keep it as safe as possible. And we'll be giving those out. And members, you can check out a hymnal. And this is all, again, safety pending. So make sure you check our website or Facebook or email before coming to campus to make sure that we're still doing it, but we hope we are. Hand sanitizer. I don't even have any here to make a gag. I was going to do a gag and I forgot it. So I guess the joke's on me. Let's look at another aspect of Holy Week, friends. It's Holy Week. Sunday was Palm Sunday, Jesus' triumphant entry into Jerusalem. Tomorrow is Monday, Thursday, where we often think about the foot washing scene or the first Last Supper. And then, of course, Good Friday and the cross, and then Easter Sunday. But right now in the life of the story, right about now in the week, this is when Jesus will be going back and forth with the scribes and the priests and the elders about theology and trying to trip him up as he's teaching the people. Now, they keep trying to test him. He keeps throwing shade at them, and I love this exchange. In fact, a few years ago, I came up with this bit where whenever this happens, whenever the leaders get so stymied by Jesus, that the music from the TV show Curb Your Enthusiasm comes up. It's a song called Frolic. And if you're not familiar with Curb Your Enthusiasm, I will show you a picture of the lead character, which I think is right here. Yes. So Larry David is the lead character, Curb Your Enthusiasm. And at the end of every show, typically, it kind of ends with a shot of Larry looking very befuddled or confused or caught between a rock and a hard place. And he's not sure what to do. And then this music cue plays as it rolls into credits. That song has become a meme and a source of satire all over the internet. And I thought, wouldn't it be interesting if in the course of Jesus parlaying back and forth with the scribes and the priests and the elders on theology, what if that happened to those leaders? So maybe the scene would be kind of like this. So they say to Jesus, so by what authority are you doing these things? Who gave you this authority? Well, I'll ask you a question. Answer me, and I'll tell you by whose authority I do these things. The baptism of John, did that come from heaven, or was it of human origin? You answer me. If we say from heaven, he'll say, then why did you not believe? But if we say of human origin, they'll say they're afraid of the crowd. We're afraid of the crowd because they regarded John as a prophet. We don't know. And then Jesus says, neither then will I tell you by whose authority I do these things. How about this one? Teacher, we know that you are sincere and show deference to no one, for you do not regard people with partiality, but teach the way of God in accordance with truth. So tell us, is it lawful to pay taxes to the emperor or not? Should we pay them or should we not? Why are you putting me to the test? Bring me the money and let me see. Okay, whose head is on this? Whose title? Whose inscription? Oh, Caesar's, emperors. Then give to the emperor what's the emperor's and give to God what's God's. Okay, one more. So which is the greatest commandment of all? Well, the first is to love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul and all your mind and all your strength. And second is you shall love your neighbor as you love yourself. There's no greater commandment than this. You got them. I love it. Over and over, they're curbed. Over and over, Jesus sees the hypocrisy of the doctors of the law, and he calls them out. Literally, he curbs their enthusiasm. They're so excited to catch him in a gotcha moment. You know what I mean by a gotcha moment, where you try to catch somebody and trip them up and get them in a gotcha moment. You ever had someone do that to you? It stinks, doesn't it? It makes us feel foolish, kind of breaks that relationship. Have you ever done that to someone? I have. And it stinks, doesn't it? It's never nearly as satisfying as you think it's going to be. We can go through life trying to snare people in gotcha moments, or we can try to live lives of generosity and kindness. Jesus takes another approach. These exchanges are from Matthew when Jesus is in Jerusalem shortly before he's murdered by the empire. But before that, though, he's got a lot to say to the oppressed who are suffering. And it's not Jesus saying, gotcha. It's Jesus saying, I've got you. And there's a big difference. At one point, he says, come to me, all you that are weary and are carrying heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. My yoke is easy and my burden is light. Jesus doesn't promise that there won't be weariness or burdens or suffering, yet in the midst of it, in your heart, Jesus says, I've got you. Eugene Peterson, who put together The Message, which is a paraphrase in contemporary language, he puts it this way. That passage says, are you tired, worn out, burned out on religion? Come to me. Get away from me and you'll recover your life. I'll show you how to take a real rest. Walk with me and work with me. Watch how I do it. Learn the unforced rhythms of grace. I won't lay anything heavy or ill-fitting on you. Keep company with me and you'll learn to live freely and lightly. Jesus doesn't say, I got you. Jesus says, I've got you. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. That's the character of God revealed by Jesus, the Jesus who we will watch be murdered on the tree on Friday, and the Jesus whom we celebrate risen and alive on Easter. So may you seek and find Jesus, and may you hear him say, I've got you. All right, I'm going to bring on Joe here. I'm unmuting everything, Joe, asking you to start your video. Okay, I'm going to unpin my video so we can go side by side. I think we can go side by side, right? There we go. So,
hey,
can you hear me, Joe? And can you talk?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Okay, now I hear you. Yes. So in my videos, we go side by side. Hold on. Right? I gotta shut me off. I gotta shut me off on the Facebook here.
Okay.
All right. Now I'm ready. Okay.
Hey, there we go.
Okay. Friends, my guest tonight is an amazing poet and art workshop facilitator from Minot, North Dakota, who now calls Minneapolis his home. Friends, welcome our friend Joe Davis. Thank you for coming out, Joe. Appreciate it.
Yeah, really grateful to be here. Thanks so much for inviting me.
Absolutely. Yeah. I first was exposed to Joe's poetry at an event at Nativity Lutheran a couple years ago called Who is MLK on Martin Luther King Day. It was an amazing event at a powerful, great church. And it was so good to hear Joe do spoken word poetry and lead young people in that. And this is a time where I'm noticing a lot of people are turning to art. Netflix binging, of course, because we're home. But people seem to be craving art to kind of get them through this. And you were telling me how art, and especially poetry, can be a very meaningful way to process the world around us. Can you tell me a little bit, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, for me, it's always been a way that I've made sense of much of my experiences. And it doesn't always have to rhyme or have a rhythm to it, but just a creative way to process and express my life, and also feel a deep connection to God and to other people whenever I'm writing and sharing poetry. So that for me, that's been really transformative, really powerful for that to be part of my life. And since I've had that experience, I want to share that with other people as well. So that's why I like to do a lot of workshopping and facilitation where I'm inviting other people to explore that creativity, even if they don't think that they're creative. I try to invite people to explore that, because I say we all have the spark. I just came to fan the flame. So I think we all have a little bit of that inside of us, ways that we can process our experiences through art, particularly poetry.
I love it. And you've been processing some of your feelings through poetry about the pandemic. And so I thought you were going to share a poem with us. And this is,
Yeah,
correct me if I'm wrong, this is the spoken word premiere
it
of
is.
this poem. Wow,
Yeah.
what exclusive. I love
Yes,
it.
so I actually don't even have this converted to memory. I'm going to read it here, and that's in rare form because I usually have my stuff memorized before I even share it. But this is something that I've just been meditating on and just had to get out. And so I put it to poetry, and I'm glad to share with y'all tonight. This piece is called Questions in the Time of COVID. What am I holding that I need to keep holding? What am I holding that I need to let go of? What needs to stop? What needs to keep flowing? These are the questions I have in the time of COVID. What don't I know that I don't know? I don't know. And what do I already know that I don't know? I know yet. What doors are already closed? What doors need to be closing? What doors are already open that I didn't even see open? What seems to be glittering that isn't really golden? Am I an ocean in a drop or a drop in the ocean? And what am I putting my heart and my soul in? These are the questions I have in the time of COVID. Am I listening to the whisper of the words unspoken? Am I making the space in my body to feel my emotions? Why did it take me this long to call my family and close friends? And when will I be able to hold them close again? Can I walk outside and feel the sunshine and the wind against my skin? See, I lost my place here. See. Can I walk outside and feel the sun and shine blowing? Can I walk outside just to feel the sunshine and the wind blowing against my skin? With purpose or direction, does it matter where I'm going? Do I believe everything that the media is showing? And what can I do to keep my melanin popping and glowing? These are the questions I have in the time of COVID. How am I coping? What is my hope in? What am I letting die? And what am I growing? Am I reaping the things from the seeds I've been sowing? And can you please show me where some more toilet paper and soap is? Why do I miss things I didn't know that I'd miss? Can you hear me? Can you see me? Is my screen frozen? How can I send a remote hug or remote kiss? Is this bogus? Am I the only one who can't eat, can't sleep, and can't focus? Who feels like I'm stuck in a dark place groping? What do I control and who controls this? These are the questions I have in the time of COVID. Is everything canceled but my loans and rent? What can I do to support your local biz? How can I send peace to families at home with kids? And what about all those experiencing homelessness? How can we care for those feeling depression or loneliness and let them know that they're not alone in this? Can this be a time to mend what is bent and broken? Can we give space to check our intentions and motives? Move slow enough to notice what we haven't yet noticed, like the sacrifice of the workers who are so heroic, who show up and show love in a world so sick. When at last can the whole world rest? Some days I wonder, is there no end? Or can we start over again and keep going? But maybe our fear isn't as contagious as our hope is. These are the questions I have in the time of COVID. Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, that was great.
It's the premiere right there. It'll only get better from here, but it felt really good to share that with you for the first time. So
I'm so glad you did. Thank you. I loved it. I'm so glad I muted my audio and my sound or in my video because I kept going, and then the oh, you're muted. Are you sure? Oh, yeah, I do want to be muted because I'm like, over here.
Hey, I appreciate it.
So much body language and talking about like inside and outside. Most every question you've asked, I've thought about.
Yeah.
Even in this episode about can you see me or not? As I'm getting the technology.
Right? We're getting used to saying that.
So I love how you combine comedy and pathos together. And it kind of almost feels like that. Like these days, sometimes I have to laugh because there's so much going on. And then there's other times where I do sink pretty deep. Is that something you usually do, like do a juxtaposition of emotions in your poems?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's important to make space
Mhm.
to express the full range of human emotions. I think it's actually healthy and holistic because there's something to be said about being free and open and expressive as opposed to repressing your emotions and having things get stuck and clogged in, and that'll just weigh us and bog us down. And so I have to have space to really feel that deep pain and that sorrow sometimes, but I
Yeah.
also need to have space to express joy and hope. And there's no better medicine than laughter, especially in times like these. So I'm a big advocate of comedy and humor for sure.
Yeah. Well, but you also touched on a lot of social justice issues in
Yeah.
the poem too. And so I'm curious, there's so much going on with the pandemic, as that's not only on the front burner, kind of took over almost all the burners,
Yeah.
but poverty is still present, voter suppression still alive and well. Racism didn't stop, and we're seeing it manifest itself in some new ways for persons of Asian heritage right now.
Mhm.
What do we do with the justice issues that are still here and maybe even amplified now in the pandemic?
Yeah, just as you said, I think that this collective crisis is really unveiling some of the social injustices that have already been present for a very long time. Particularly like we see the targeted attacks of people of Asian descent, and even how people who are poor and marginalized and people of color are disproportionately feeling the impact of this global pandemic. And
Right.
so now that there's a greater awareness of these things, I think that's also an opportunity to organize around them and find effective solutions. Because now that we're seeing it more, we're talking about it more, I think this is a perfect opportunity for us to really rally together and say, let's try to imagine some alternative possibilities together.
And some of the tactics will have to change. It won't be a time for marching literally as much as,
Yeah.
for example.
Yeah. I mean, I'm seeing so many innovative ways that people are staying connected, even while physically distant. And so I think the internet is one of those powerful tools that we can use to even tackle some of those issues that people are more aware of now.
I think it's a good time for tethers in our lives when days can kind of run into each other. Our first guest in our first episode, a member of our church named Barb, she was in self isolation for 100 days for a health issue. And
Mm.
she talked about how, in looking back, she wished she had more routine or things to kind of keep her tethered. So I'm curious for you with poetry, like when it comes to reading poetry or writing poetry, how are you keeping that in front of you in this time?
Yeah, so I have some practices that I always come back to, but I also have space to kind of just free form, improvisationally write from day to day. Whenever the inspiration strikes, it's sometimes like capturing lightning in a bottle, and I just got to get it out whenever it hits. And so I write every single day as the inspiration comes, or I see something that makes me laugh or makes me think, and in those moments of pause, I'll capture that creative energy. But then also whenever I have something coming up, I'll make sure that I have a day marked on my calendar, like an
Mm.
hour, 2 hours, where I can sit down and actually just devote some intentional time and energy into creating. And sometimes it's maybe for a particular project that I'm working towards, or just for the sake of, hey, I got to actually organize all this improvisational energy into something. And so I always make sure I have that space as well.
I love it. I wonder, can you share another poem with us?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, I want to
Yeah.
mute me and pin you up here.
Yeah, I'll share a piece that's pretty near and dear to my heart, and I feel resonates with a lot of my friends and family. It's this piece called "Show Up," and I think this poem has taken on a new meaning in this particular time that we're in now, because we can't necessarily physically show up to all the places that we want to. But I think for me, showing up means being like spiritually present and showing up for yourself. And what that really means is self care and being present to what your body's feeling, and giving the space for healing and hope. And so that's what this piece is about. It's called Show Up. And this goes out to anybody who just needs this reminder today. We've each been called to this place, this time and this season. You may not yet know the rhyme or the reason. You may not feel, think, or believe in the same things I believe in, but we've been asked to show up. Show up wherever you are from. You can come here to be free. Bring your full selves, both your head and your heart, your hands and your feet, and anything and everything infinitely beyond any duality or sexuality, gender, race, age, or ability. We all have the ability to be. Without you, I am incomplete. Without you, there is no we. I need you not just to survive, but to thrive, to come fully awake and alive with potential and possibility. Join me at the table, for it is wide and there is lots of food to eat. So show up and be fed and feed others, satiating a different kind of hunger, fueling the fire in our bellies. No matter what journey you're on, where you've been, or what you've done, all will be well when we're all welcome to laugh, cry, dance, write, breathe, and bleed into the margins and follow the call into the frost reaches of who we are. Whether you run, walk, crawl, even if you fall, we fall in love. But just show up. Show up to answer the call to justice, to transform both the soul and the bodily world the soul inhabits. Show up with all your awkwardness and bad habits. Show up with your doubts and questions. Knowing here, you can ask them. Show up with your wounds and your scars. We all have baggage, but know that together we can unpack it. This is no mistake. You were not here by accident. You were here to share the stories of your sacred passage. You are the only you that ever has been. You are not the magician. You are the magic. So show up to this place here where there's no grace period. There's only grace, period. Bring your fears and insecurities. Let us marvel in the mystery. Let us listen each other to life with a deep, holy listening. Can you hear it? Can you hear it? That is the sound of the genuine within you, the spirit stirring near you. But if you don't show up, how can anyone hear you? Show up. Even if you don't know for certain, you may have the truth and healing for which this world is searching. In this grand universe, we are but small workers with a big purpose because of our hearts widening the circle, hearts that are broken, hearts that are open, so little light can shine through, a little hope for the hopeless. Wherever you go, simply know the spirit of this place is with you. So go, ready with your sleeves rolled up, always growing, never fully grown up, ready with all your heart, mind, body, and soul, simply to show up. Thank you.
Thank you. That was wonderful.
I'm grateful to share.
And you clearly know that. I mean, that was right to the camera. I mean, it was like right into my soul.
Yeah, I feel it. That one came from the soul.
It's like this poem about that space in between us and how to bridge that gap in so many ways. The line that really stuck out to me is, am I saying this right? Where you said, "Without you, there is no we." Is that the line?
Yeah, I truly believe that. Yeah. Without you, there is no we. I need you not just to survive, but to thrive. And for me, that really speaks to the spirit of Ubuntu. That's one of my favorite concepts. Ubuntu is a South African concept, an ethic and way of life, meaning I am because we are. And just says that we're deeply interconnected, interdependent in ways we may not even realize. And I think that's really becoming more and more evident during this time, how much we need each other. And I just wanted to communicate that through the poem. So
I agree. I liked every line. There was a line where you said we all have baggage. I don't, but I mean the rest of you. But I get that. So, Joe, where can people find your work?
Yeah, well, if they go to my website, joedavispoetry.com, I have a lot of videos, a lot of ways to connect and get in contact with me there. But also, any social media you go to, you can look up Joe Davis Poetry and find me. Yep, there's the website. Awesome. You already had it pulled up.
All ready to go.
Yeah. And then I'm on every social media like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. If you just look up Joe Davis Poetry, super easy to find. I keep it consistent on all the platforms. I'm actually dropping a new video here pretty soon. The show up video is coming out, and some other cool stuff. If you stay connected, you'll find out about. So.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, thank you so much for that. Oh, and you have a poetry slam coming up.
Oh, yes. Yes. So every year I normally do a live teen poetry slam, but of course, we're unable to do that this year. However, I didn't want the kids to miss out. So we're going to do a virtual poetry slam Saturday, April 25th, tentatively. I'll definitely stay connected for further details, but it'll most likely be streamed similar to this, Zoom, Facebook, open to the public to view, but it'll be for the teens at the high school that I went to in Minot High School in North Dakota. So stay connected to that to see some amazing youth poetry. And I'm always doing sorts of things like that to open it up to the community. So
I love it. So they can go to joedavispoetry.com or facebook.com/joedavispoetry. And if you tag us, we'll be glad to share that as it gets.
Definitely. I would love that. Yeah.
Well, friends, let's thank our friend Joe. Thank you so much, Joe. Have a good night.
I appreciate you.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Right on.
All right. Goodbye to Joe. Do I want to remove Joe? I don't, but I'm going to. That's what it says. That's the prompt it gives me. All right, friends. That was so good. Oh my gosh. That is worth replaying several times. And so I hope you come back to it several times in the weeks to come, friends. So let's wrap this up with a few things. I have a little bit more screen share for you. Let's go ahead and guess the number. How many unread emails do you think I still have in my box? I think it was like 44 or something. I think last week was 40. We are, we got a lot more. In that meantime, we are now at 11. We're down to only 11 unread emails, and most of them are from today. We are getting there. Have I responded to all of the read emails? That's a good question. This press conference is over. Anyway, a couple other things I want to let you know about. I got a message this week that the St. Paul Chamber Orchestra, the SPCO, they've unfortunately canceled their in-person conferences or concerts through at least May 10th. However, they are rebroadcasting a performance of Bach's St. John Passion for Good Friday. And it's going to be an incredible concert. You don't want to miss that. That's going to be this Friday, Good Friday, 8 o'clock p.m. And it also streams again Saturday at 3 o'clock. It's absolutely free. Catch one of these gems of Minnesota, the St. Paul Chamber Orchestra, and their website is thespco.org. All right. Friends, I am so glad that you are here, and I'm so glad to continue doing these camp meetings. I'm Reverend Nate Melcher of Richfield United Methodist Church in Minneapolis. In-person worship is still suspended. We will have live premieres of pre-recorded worship experiences this week for Monday, Thursday, and for Good Friday at 7 o'clock. Those will be on our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/richfieldumc. And then we will return to live streaming our Easter worship this Sunday at 9:30 from the sanctuary. And again, pending safety permits it, we plan to do a drive-through joy on Saturday at 10 a.m. through 11:30 a.m. To give out free Easter egg hunt take-home kits. And members can check out a hymnal. Anybody who's part of our worshiping community, member or not, you can check out a hymnal and take it home with you. And just make sure you check the website before coming out. Leave your suggestion for a sneak attack pun. We will see you next week. So friends, benediction, fancy church word for go out and love and serve in the name of God. So friends, go out and love and serve in the name of God. Go out and serve God with faith, justice, and joy. And as our band leader, John Wesley, would say, the best of all is God is with us. Thank you for coming out. I hope you had a good experience.